Are you like me and can't stand to throw any of your scraps away? Hi, I'm Bibi, and I help artists to build confidence and to find play through process, not perfection. Today, I'm going to teach you something that is going to help you to actually use all of the scraps that you don't want to get rid of. This is a process that I like to call Franken Papers or patchwork papers. It's when you take smaller pieces of paper, combine them together into something that's bigger to be a new substrate to work on later down the road. This technique helped me to create more visual interest without even having to try. You can do this with small itty bitty scraps, medium size or large size scraps, just depending on what you're looking for and how you want to work in the future. Franken papers have quickly become one of my favorite papers to grab, and now I have a stockpile of them at the ready so that I can pull them and use them whenever I want. Here are some examples of different Franken papers that I've already made that are ready to be used for future projects. You can see here there's really no right or wrong. There's no one predetermined size that you have to get to, and you can even add things like fabric in with your paper. I like to use papers that are relatively plain. A lot of times they'll have text or different things like that, but I really want them to be a nice base to work from later. Here's just a couple examples of Franken papers after I've done some work on them, and you can just see that the various bases of paper give really nice differences, and it becomes a little bit more unexpected what you're going to get for results. This one has some hand stitching in it, and you can see it kind of took the ink in different ways. I love to use different kinds of paper. This one is vellum on here. This is from a book, and this is newsprint. Anything goes, and you can combine any of the papers that you want. I like to think of this process as a puzzle that I'm putting all the different pieces together, but there's no predefined ending. So it means whatever I put together is actually the right solution. I'm gonna start with some slightly bigger pieces just because when we work really small, sometimes I find that I get a little bit more tedious about it. And I don't want to overthink this process. I can be as simple or as complex as I want to be. And for me, there's no one predetermined size that I'm trying to get all of my pieces to. Some of the methods that you can use to attach your papers together. Some of the ones that I think of right away are glue, tape, staples. You can even use sticky labels. I love to use stitching, machine stitching, and hand stitching. Add things like pins or safety pins and adding that metal element into it. Tape can serve as both functional and decorative. You may be wondering when I decide to use glue, regular tape, or double stick tape like this one here. And it's really just whatever I'm feeling in that moment. I like to kind of vary it up as I go along, not just any one thing. I do know that the double stick tape holds up really well when I do techniques that have more water down the road. So I do like to use the double stick tape. And sometimes when I do just a quick glue stick layer, I'll come on the back and I'll reinforce it with tape. But I can always reinforce things later if I want to as well. I usually just focus on what one side looks like rather than both sides because I don't know how I'm going to use it yet, and I can always come back and add more things. And think about different tape textures, different tape types. One of my main goals here is to add texture to these pages, to add dimension, and then when I add stuff, it's like built in dimension without even trying. I may come back on some of these and add some machine stitching, but I'm just going to glue things in place. That way it's at least usable, and then I can come back and add the stitching all at once. Sometimes you'll come across pieces where you cut a shape or something out. I kind of like to leave those intact, and it just creates some interest automatically. I don't worry about having all my edges and stuff line up. I really like the wonkiness of having things that are overlapping at different areas. If you're wondering why I have so many papers with holes along the side, it's because I was binding some journals and these were the extra pages. They could definitely go into another journal, but they just got put in my scrap bin here, and I kind of like the interest that the holes give. And often when I'm working with heavier papers, that's when I bring out the double stick tape. I know that I'm going to come back on this and add some stitching. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue down just to hold it in place. You can definitely do stitching as you go along. It just depends what your setup is in your space. Right now, my setup is I'll have to take everything over to the sewing machine or bring my sewing machine over here. So it just helps me to just do this part first and focus mainly on the glue and the tape and staples, and then come back and add some more of the embellishments. Let's do a couple of little paper ones now. Adding straight pins can be a really cool, unexpected visual element to put in there. If I'm using sharp ones, I like to just clip the ends so that I don't accidentally poke myself later on. And if I'm using ones that are not necessarily straight pins, but they're meant for like earrings, I kind of pre-poke the holes in order to get them through. I like to bend some of them and just let them do what they want. And then I'll probably just put a piece of tape on the back so that it stays pretty well. Sticky labels are another fun option that acts like a tape, and I happen to have some here that were printed out for one of my 100-day projects that I didn't get to the end of, so I might as well just use those labels, and then it will just add like text onto the page here. After using these for a while, I know a couple ingredients that make me really happy when I go to use them for my different methods. One of those is combining different paper types. So I love the vellum in there with other papers. I think it's a nice unexpected touch. Plus, when it gets wet, it reacts different and it wrinkles up more than the other papers. The other thing is having more fabric embedded in is really great. So I didn't do a ton of that here, but when I bring my sewing machine out, I might put more of that in. So now I'm going to go through the pieces that I created and see which ones could benefit from just a little bit of stitching. The stitching will act in part as decoration, but it also secures any of the glue that I did. A lot of times I know that I'm going to come back and do some reinforcement or glue or stitching, and so I don't worry about that too much as I go along. Two tips if you're always having your thread come undone when you start stitching each time is make sure you're cutting your thread long enough away from the needle each time that you end. The other tip is to hold on to that thread when you start and then actually use the hand crank towards you on the side to have that go down into the paper, and then that will help you get started. So I'm pulling my paper out, making sure that I'm going to cut where it's enough. Usually to about the edge of your machine is great. You can also take it and use the cutter that's on the side. And then when I go ahead and start the next one, I'll bring my needle up, put my foot down. I'm holding on to these threads, and then I'm going to hand crank and put my needle in the down position. And when you're turning a corner, it's always a good idea to leave your needle down so that you can pivot in the corner and things won't shift around too much for you. When I'm on a machine that allows it, I enjoy switching between a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch just to give it some variety. I really like this machine because I can easily switch between the two without having to deal with the electronic interface where it usually takes more time to switch things up. I can even switch things mid-stitch if I wanted to. Ending with your needle in the down position before you cut off will also help for it not to continue to come unthreaded. And you may get a little gunk on your needle over time. I never have too much of an issue with that. I usually try, if I know that I'm going to be adding stitching, to not use double stick tape or any tape that is too strong, but just normal masking tape I have no problem with. Same with a glue stick. And just like that, we have one of my favorite methods, Franken Papers. It's the perfect way to use up all of those scraps that you can't stand to throw away, create depth and dimension into your work, and it's the perfect way to add more texture that makes it look like you're working a lot harder than you actually are. If you enjoyed this video, then comment down below. Make sure that you're already subscribed to my channel, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!